to the Fairy Tales of Vienna podcast, brought to you by your host, Samantha B., who cordially invites you to sit back and relax and join her, yes me, on my adventures as I navigate the intricate dealings of the Austrian society in Vienna, coming from that magical place, the East Coast of the United States, with a suitcase and a dream and very little else. Hope you enjoy the journey as much as I'm enjoying experiencing it every single day. Chapter 3. Whether or not you are prepared. But are you really ever prepared to change location, to adapt to new weather, especially with climate change, in which any day, at any second, could be drastically different than moments before? The layers game, of course, is a very strong strategy, as well as always being dressed like you're ready to go into the Arctic, in which you can just take off a layer if you start to get warmer. Today, for instance, I knew it was going to be colder, in the low 50s, that there would be no precipitation. Ha ha ha, fool me thrice. The moment I met up with my friend, it started to rain heavily, and a nice cold, steady rain. But of course I packed my small umbrella, right? That's why I got a small one, to keep it on me all the time. Wait, nope, I removed that from my bag as soon as I got home yesterday, because it was wet. But at least I brought my hat and gloves to protect myself from the elements. No, why would I do such a thing? Amateur hour on today's episode. Before you move to a new destination with a different climate, might I suggest that you start weight training? Weight training, you say? That's so peculiar. Not really, when considering you're going to be trying to outsmart Mother Nature, who's angry at the planet as we continue to do things that wrong her every single day. So the layers game will be your best bet, and to always pack for any kind of weather with an umbrella, hats and gloves, other things in your, like a water bottle for when you get thirsty, a book for if you get bored, a charger for when you run out of juice, etc., etc. That adds up. This doesn't even include if you're going hiking or if you're going to class and need to perhaps bring your, laptop. No, it gets very different when you move to a city from the comfort of your home where you have your own car that you can drive around in. Here, perhaps, I should have planned a little bit better. Mind you, I've lived in cities before, New York City, for example, but that was a long time ago, before the pandemic. I got pandemic lazy. I barely left my couch, and it shows. Now I get winded walking to the tram, walking up a flight of stairs, walking to get a sandwich. Realizing that today was going to be cold, I decided to wear extra layers after having procured fleece-lined tights. I am comfortably wearing those under my jeans with knee-high boots, a giant sweater over a shirt, and a scarf and a jacket, etc. But was it enough? And oddly enough, no. A giant wool jacket, a giant wool sweater, fleece tights under jeans, and other various accoutrements, and I am still really cold. This is bode well for my journey into winter when it's only October and this is very mild weather. We're going to find out together the hard way, and you're welcome to experience it with me without having to experience it yourself. What a coup. Allow me to make some suggestions if you find yourself in the elements with nowhere to go. Some examples that would be wonderful places to seek refuge. The aforementioned cafes, where they let you seek residence for as long as you need. Or perhaps a museum would be a great idea. There are days in which museums are free, you just need to figure out when those days are. There are also lots of really cool structures with overhangs. Some have like mysterious restaurants or shops within them. I suggest going there, where you're covered from the rain. Another suggestion would be to go to the opera. Yeah, even during the day, they have tours. I believe they're at 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. Perhaps it changes during the week, I'm not sure. But for a very reasonable price, you could spend a lot of time in the warmth of the opera, getting a tour. They have the tours in multiple languages. You can choose whichever one you feel would be the most fun for you, and then go spend an afternoon walking around the secret parts of the opera that normal guests can't access. An amazing way to spend a day. And then for those of you who actually enjoy music and opera, you're also able to then get in line with an overhang outside of the opera and wait to try to get these standing seat only tickets. Standing seat, does that even make sense? Who knows? But due to COVID, you do actually get an assigned seat, which is brilliant. So you wait in line for a little while, and then for 10 euros, you have just been given a delightfully warm spot to spend your evening. It starts at 7 sharp. You cannot be late. If you're one of those people who's always late, this is not the place for you because they shut the doors and lock them at 7 p.m. They don't care that you're 30 seconds late. It's over for you. Find somewhere else to go. But for those of you who made it in the doors, you now have the next 3 hours in the warmth of the opera, as well as a pretty entertaining show. Something interesting I learned on the opera tour, not that I'm going to ruin the whole tour for you. And you may not know this, but opera shows only happen about once a week. At the Opera House, there's a new show every single night, for many reasons. The most important reason is to protect the performers because it takes a great deal of effort and strength to sing an entire opera, even with little breaks. That's why the intermission is about an hour, which gives you plenty of time to check out one of the 3 super cool intermission rooms. One that survived the war, which is probably my favorite, most grand. There's also one that looks super artsy and is named after the person who had been the artist and architect of a lot of the shows, as well as the 3rd room, which is the newest, and you can tell. But it's a nice place to spend an hour getting food or drinks and mingling with the other opera folk. And then eventually you get to go back to your spot and finish the show. Or if you're lame like me, you do half a show, and at intermission, you go home and go to sleep. But that's up to you, dealer's choice. Not a bad way to spend your day and evening in the comfort and beauty of the Opera House. And as they do a new show every night, you could literally go every day of the week and never see a show twice, be entertained, and stay warm. Just a thought. If you're more of a museum person, obviously check the hours and the days that they're open. And there's this magical night once a year in which you pay very little and have access to every single museum at night. So you can live your night at the museum dreams. Of course, I missed it for this year, but I do not plan on missing it for next year. And if you're into that or want to have something cool to do, what a great idea for a date or a second or third date that you think is going well. Go on an adventure together through all of the museums and look like a baller. Even though what you paid was very little, it's like a magical baller way to impress a lady or a gentleman or whatever it is that you're into dating. I don't know your life. All I'm here to do is to share with you what I'm learning by doing it the hard way and then giving you the easier way of getting through. Speaking of opera singers, I'm starting to lose my voice for whatever reason, so I will leave you with this little tidbit, my friends. If you have it in you to go explore, to leave the comfort of home, and to go try something new, by all means, go forth into the day or night. But don't forget to wear layers, to know where you're going, and to have backup plans for when the thing you thought you were going to do is actually closed that day. Continue learning from my mistakes as we take this journey together through the beautiful wilderness of Vienna, Austria. This is your host, Samantha B., happy to give you the info you may need should you ever leave your house again, and even if you don't. Thanks for listening. I can't wait to see you next time.